We've been talking about the vestments of the priest, right? And what did we say, the vestments? What's the Greek word for vestments? Remember? Not rasa. Rasa is the black robe. Very good, amphia. Very good, amphia. And why do we wear them? Why?
Represent the sheep.
Well, very good. The Epigonation represents the sheep, yes. And what part of what I'm wearing is the Epigonation? Which one?
In the front?
This?
No.
This?
Yeah, that.
Yes, very good. So this is the Epigonation. And we say that it's over my neck because it represents, as you said, the sheep. So what does the sheep have to do with the priest? Do you think I have sheep at home? I used to have one sheep, my son, but now he's older. Now I'm the goat. No. Couldn't help. What happens if a sheep goes away, runs away?
The shepherd catches it?
We have to go catch it. And how do we bring it back? Do we put it in a U-Haul and we bring it back? How do we bring it back?
You put it on top of the shoulders.
Very good. We put it on top of the shoulders, right? And that's how a shepherd in the old country, even here, I spent some time in Wyoming, in a church, Greek Orthodox church, and believe it or not, many of the people in the church were shepherds. I was there for Holy Week many, many years ago. They actually had sheep, and I went out to their places of the sheep, and they said, yes, when we want, we put the sheep on our neck, and we bring it back like this. So in order to represent the job of the priest, my job is that if you go and do some weird things, I have to bring you back. And sometimes when people do bad things, they don't want to come back, right? They think they know better. So sometimes we've got to grab them, put them on our neck, and we force them back. But we bring them back on our neck, and so the Petrachili, that's what it represents. The stole in English, Petrachilium. Amphia, and we said we wear the amphia to represent how we are supposed to look when we are in heaven. We're supposed to be like angels in heaven. And if you heard in the epistle lesson, it said that we are to put on Jesus Christ, to put him on, to become like him, to look like him. And that's why we wear these vestments, and you look around, you see all the saints, they wear vestments, different colors, and there are meanings to the different colors. For example, today, what color am I wearing? What is this? White, gold, and what's the major color? Blue. Do you know what blue stands for? What? Who is it? I think someone said it. Blue? Why does the priest wear blue vestments? See, notice how they don't know either. So it's good that I'm talking to you. Blue is for the Panagia, always. So because this Friday we're going to do Hieretismi, we wear the blue to remind you, to tell you something important about the Panagia is coming. So we as priests, we're like billboards almost. We're like signs. When you look at the priest's vestments, it often tells you something is coming or that day is important. So next Friday when we do the service of the Panagia, you will see that I will have blue on again. I might even have my raso will be blue, color blue, to represent, as I said, the Panagia or purity. Blue is the color of purity. So sometimes when you look around, you might see blue on women's saints to show that they were pure people. They were pure people. So what else did we talk about? We talked about the Tahili, we talked about what's underneath. The first thing we put on, remember? This. Don't let the adults beat you. What is it? Do you know? Very good, the sticharion. And we said this represents when we're baptized. And all of us, when we were baptized, you don't remember, but when we were baptized, our godparents, our parents took all our clothes off, they put us in the water, and afterwards we were dressed in white clothes. Well, that represents the sticharion. It represents that we were washed clean. So we begin, every time I do a service, the priest puts on the sticharion to represent the beginning. We were baptized in Jesus, I put on a petahili because I have a responsibility. What did we say these are? Cuffs, okay, that's the English word, the cuffs. Epimanica, okay, epimanica. And what do they represent? This one represents strength in God. The right one, right hand, God gives me strength.
Represents the...
Yes? Yeah, you're looking at your yaya. She's giving you the answers. Smart yaya. This represents the creation that God made me. So when I wear this, I said, God gives me strength, and God made me at the same time. So if you notice, everything that the priest puts on, that's why it takes so much time, because we put on all this to remind us of what we're doing, to focus, 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 as much as we can. Today I want to talk to you about this. Anybody? Epigonation. Epigonato. So it goes on the knee. So if you notice, the priest, not all priests have this. This now, you don't have it when you become a priest. This is like I don't want to say award. It's a responsibility that the church gives you. After many years as a priest, I've been a priest close to over 40 years. So this represents it's called an ophikion in Greek, a rank. So just like in the army, you have the private and then you get some ranks. So one of the first ranks of the priest, usually after 15 years, but not always, is this. And this gives you the responsibility to raise money. So whenever you see, that's why bishops always have an epigonation, it represents two things. It represents their authority to raise money on behalf of the church. And it also gives us the authority to be able to teach. Because just because you're a priest doesn't mean you can always teach. You have to be given the officium, you have to be given the rank to be able to do that. So I was given this many years ago by Archbishop Iakovos, who passed away. He gave me this at one liturgy, made me an ikonomos, it's called. So it's an epigonation. And what does it look like? What do you think it is?
A square.
Okay, it's a square, and it hangs, and I have a responsibility to collect money. So what do you think it is, or was in the old days?
A bag?
Yes, very good, a bag. That's what it was. It was a bag, and the bag used to hang by the priest's knee, and when people wanted to give to the poor, they would come up to the priest, they would kiss his hand, and put something in the bag. They would put gold pieces or silver or something in the bag, and then he would take it and bring it to the poor and give it to him. But not everyone had that bag. Sometimes, if you see a bishop, the priest will actually kiss the epigonation. The bishop will go like this and put it on his knee, and they'll kiss it to represent that they understand that he has the responsibility not only for the money of the church, but for the spiritual treasure of the church that he is supposed to share. So in the early church, two things were in this. Money, and also the Bible, pieces of the Bible. Because the Bible wasn't books. They didn't have books then. They had scrolls. Like, it was wrapped up. Like a paper towel. It was wrapped up like that. And they would shove it in the epigonation, so as when the priest went around, he would pull out the scroll from the epigonation, and then he could read something to you. He'd roll it up, put it back in epigonation. So represented the sword of the church. The sword of the church. So if this is the armor of the priest, the amphi of the priest, this in here had one of the most important tools, weapons, was the Bible. Because it's with the Bible, the Word of God, that we bring people closer to us and we bring the sheep back to the fold. So you can see how the responsibility of teaching, which is the Bible, right here, always by the priest. This is, and St. Paul says that. He says, always have the weapon, which is the Word of God, next to you, close to you. You going to ask something?
No, I was just rolling my head.
So I was teaching some children like yourselves many years ago, and one day, one of the boys comes to me and he says, guess what I got for Christmas? And he says, my yaya made me a set of amphia. I said, really? And he said, can you bring them to church? Sure. And he brought a full set of amphia made for a little boy about this big. And believe it or not, that boy went on and became a priest later on in his life. And his goal ultimately is to become a bishop one day. And I always tell him that if you become a bishop, remember me who helped you understand your amphia and be nice to me. So I will talk to you again next week, and I hope that you will bring more children to hear these catechetical lessons. Please rise.